say happy birthday.
Come sing the grandma.
Right now. Okay, ready?
Start it, Caroline.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Grandma. Happy birthday to you. Grandma's, as we call them. We took Ruby and Mother to the beach with us, and so we were sitting on the porch, and I said, "Okay, Mother, the time is now. Tell me all your secrets. I want to hear everything that you have to tell." And she sat there and she said, I said, "Now, Mama, now." And she said, "Well, it's just normal. It's just average." And I said, "Well, let's talk." So I started quizzing her. But I want you to know about a little bit.
I kept my secret.
Yes, she did. She didn't tell me anything. Well, Mom, we're here to celebrate your 90th birthday. How exciting. I know you're glad to be able to share this with your family and your friends. Who would have thought that on, see, Mother's birthday is July 19th. 1922, the little girl born to Sam Jones and Ollie Virginia Covington Carter would grow up to marry a handsome Italian barber. Have two wonderful children. Have wait a minute, 4 intelligent and adventurous grandchildren, and now 5 great-grands with 1 on the way. By the way, this little girl will have her name, Eleanor Ruby.
A fantastic son-in-law.
That's her too. Mom was born into a loving family of Virginia, S.J., who died as an infant, then Mom, Uncle Tilden, Aunt Hazel, Aunt Audrey, then a pretty little girl that I don't believe they gave a name to, Ollie Mae, and Terry. A big family that always supported each other and still does today. We still miss those that are not with us. She was born in Hoffman. She lived there until she was 4, and then they moved to a farm here in McFarland during the Depression. She said it was a 4-room house, and then they built the log house, which I did not know. Because the log house is what we remember growing up. Sunday dinners, cousins to play with, porches to play on, flowers to pick, and Grandma standing on the porch getting me because I picked all her flowers, and you too. Biscuits to grab off the oven door, and lots of animals to love. She went to McFarland Elementary School and Morgan High School. Mama played basketball. I've seen a picture in her uniform. She said they played on a clay court until they built a gym, and I think Morgan was one of the first schools in the county to get a gym. Tell me. They had theirs first, and then Morgan got one. I asked her about her grades. You played on the court before the gym. I asked her about her grades, and she said, "Well, I had some A's and I had some B's, just average." But she was the first in her family to graduate from high school, right? Okay. From there, she went to Continental Beauty College in High Point, and she stayed with Uncle Walter and Aunt Texie Covington. She obtained her beautician's license and then moved to Winston. And she said, I said, "Mom, how much did you charge for her hair wash and set?" 75 cents. From Winston, she went on to Shelby to live with the Snyders. And the Snyders, Mr. Snyder, was commander of the Legion Hut. And this move to Shelby was proved to be really important. After a little while, Mother moved to Charlotte, and she worked for Bertie Carpenter. Bertie's shop was right downtown on the square, but it burned, and so they moved to the Ladder Arcade. And during this time, Mother would ride the bus back and forth to Shelby to go to the Legion dances. And they'd always invite soldiers to come for the Legion dance. Now, this is why Shelby's important, because one of those soldiers was that handsome Italian I was telling you about. He was the persistent, aggravating Armando, and he just wouldn't go away. Mother said they met on a bus, he walked her home, and they began dating. She said, I didn't like him at first, but he kind of grew on me. And even when Mom said he wouldn't go away. She said even when Daddy asked her to marry him, she said, let me think about it. But thank goodness they married on March 26, 1944. And Reverend Fred Roberts married them in the carpenter's home. Right? Well, Dad was still in the Army. He was stationed at Marsville in Charlotte. But within a year, he was sent to Texas. And Mom stayed in Charlotte until he got pregnant with me. And she moved back to McFarland to live with grandmother because, I'm sorry, but she was very sick. And I was born in 1945. And Dad has told me, he said, I missed your birth, but Mother was still in the hospital when he got home. After that, Dad was discharged from the Army, and he came to Wadesboro to be a barber. And they bought a house on Camden Road, and my little brother was born in 1947. This was great, since I needed someone to put blame on, and of course Sam was very good at finding all Christmas presents. And then I could say it was his fault. They lived on Camden Road until 1962, when they built the new house on Lakeview Drive, where Mother lives today. She worked in Mount Gilead at Unity Theater. Now, this is a story in itself, because Daddy didn't want her to work. He wanted her to stay home. But she went and got this job anyway. Well, it was kind of a roundabout way. And but she didn't tell him about it. But after she started getting checks, getting paid for it, he said, well, that'll be okay. She worked there for several years and then moved to West Midland, where she worked for 35 years. When she retired, she and Dad packed their camper and headed out to campgrounds from the mountains to the beach. Just as long as they could do a little fishing, a lot of sitting, and a lot of talking with new friends. They belonged to a square dance club, where Mom wore the most beautiful frilly dresses, and these two over here played dress up all the time in those clothes. She was and still is very active in her church, First United Methodist, with Women's Circle, family dinners, and she is now treasurer of her Sunday school class. She was a very active lady lioness, member of the Down to Earth Garden Club. She works at the hospital as a volunteer, and you help with the voting precincts, am I right? Okay. As you can see, she stays very busy, but she's also in her yard, right, Tyler? She is cutting those flowers and cutting those shrubs, and she told me I can really use that hoe pretty good. So we can't keep her out of that. She'll tell you her life has been pretty normal. She loves sharing it with Dad, who died in 2005. They didn't have a lot, enough to be comfortable, but lots of love that they showed to Sam and I and all her family. We think that's a pretty special life. She wouldn't tell me any secrets, and I promised I wouldn't make any up. Happy birthday, Mom. Thank you for your caring spirit, your loving nature, and your giving soul. We love you, and we're happy to share this with you. Now, if anyone wants to make a comment, I would ask you to do that, and then I think Mama has something she wants to say. And then one more thing. We would like to have you take pictures with your family so that Mother has a memory book, and like all of your family that's here get together, and Jeff and Scott and Sam will take pictures so we can put that in her memory book.